Hi everyone, welcome to Keep Calm and Crochet. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this cute little axolotl. For this tutorial, you're going to need plush yarn in the color of your choice, a contrasting color for the dorsal fin and the gills, pink for the blush and black for finer details. I've used 12mm size eyes, but you can have 12 or bigger for this project. I'm going to be working this with a 5mm crochet hook. In addition to this, you're going to need stitch marker, darning needle, pair of scissors, and some fiber fill. So make sure you've got all of those components. Now, if you enjoy watching my tutorials, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started. We're going to start off with the head, and for this, let's go ahead and work a slip knot using whatever method you prefer and chain 2. This method is an alternative to magic ring. If you prefer working with magic ring, skip this step and work your round 1 straight into your magic ring. But for this one, you're going to skip your first chain and work your round 1 in the second chain from your hook. Slip your hook in there, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's my first single crochet. We're going to be working 8 of them all together. Here's my 5th, 6th, 7th, and my 8th one. Once you have your 8 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches. There we go, and this eliminates the gap here and makes your stitches come together, and you can work in a spiral. To do this, slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round and pull up a loop from there to work your first single crochet of round 2. Going back into that same stitch to work another single crochet. Now when you have 2 single crochets in the same stitch, it's called an increase. We're going to be working 8 increases in this round. Here's my 5th increase, 6th, 7th, and my 8th one. This brings your stitch count to 16. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. I'm going to start using a stitch marker to identify the start of my round, so we can keep an accurate stitch count. If you don't have a stitch marker, feel free to use a paper clip, scrap bit of yarn, or even a safety pin. Anything to identify this. Going to follow that single crochet on with an increase. And here's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet followed on with an increase. A single crochet, increase, and you're going to repeat that all the way around until you get to this point here. So go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row. Here's my first, second, let's put the stitch marker back in place, third, followed on with an increase. And here's your repeat for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 30. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. Follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 30 single crochets in a row. Once you've done that, you're going to follow the same method 7 times altogether to have 7 rounds of just single crochet. So go ahead and work that and then meet me back here. After 7 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count should still be 30. Now we're going to take a minute and insert some security eyes into the head. I've already gone ahead and done one. So we're going to position this between round 8 and 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the space between these stitches, I'm going to keep about 5 to 6 stitches in between and insert the other eye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and insert in the 6th one here. And once you've done that, put the backing on. And let's get started on the next round. So for this, you're going to work 3 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3. Stitch marker back in place. And follow this on with a decrease. When you're working a decrease, you are reducing the number of stitches. And to do this, you're going to pull up a loop from the next stitch and the stitch after that. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your combination for this round. 3 single crochets followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. That's 1, 2, stitch marker back in place. Follow this on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your combination for this round. 2 single crochets followed on with a decrease, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 18. Let's start the next round by working a decrease in our first 2 stitches like this. Stitch marker back in place. And we're going to follow this decrease on with a decrease in all of these stitches. So we are going to work 9 decreases in a row to finish this round. There's my second decrease, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7th, 8th, and my final decrease is decrease number 9. Now this brings your stitch count to 9. We're now going to make sure that this head is stuffed with fiber fill, and then we're going to continue working on the body. And to start with the body, you're going to work an increase in the next stitch. Let's go ahead and put our stitch marker back in place. And we're going to follow this increase on with an increase in all of these stitches all the way around. So in this round, you're going to have 9 increases in a row. So go ahead, work that and stuff this head up with fiber fill, and then meet me back here. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 18. Let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. Here's my first and second. Stitch marker in place. Follow 2 single crochets on with an increase. And here's your repeat for this round. 2 single crochet followed on with an increase, and repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count is 24. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker back in place. Follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 24 single crochets in a row. Once you've done that, you're going to follow the same method 3 times altogether to have 3 rounds of just single crochet. Go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of 3 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count should still be 24. We're now going to start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. And we're going to follow that on with a decrease. So pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. And here's your repeat for this round. 2 single crochets followed on with a decrease. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 18. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker back in place. Follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 18 single crochets in a row. Once you've done that, you're going to follow this method one more time to have 2 rounds of just single crochet. So go ahead and work that and meet me back here. At the end of 2 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count is still 18. Let's start the next round by working 4 single crochets in a row. That's 1, 2, stitch marker back in place, 3 and 4, followed on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. We're going to repeat this 2 more times to finish this round. So let's work on this together. 3, 4, followed on with a decrease. And last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, followed on with a decrease. This brings your stitch count to 15. Now we're going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker back in place, and we're going to follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 15 single crochets in a row. Almost there. Last 2 stitches. And that brings our stitch count to 15 still. Let's start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch. Stitch marker in place. Follow the single crochet on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. And here's your repeat for this round. 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease. Repeat that all the way around. At the end of this round, your stitch count should be 10. Now, as you can see, the space between the stitches is quite small, so I've already gone ahead and stuffed this body up with fibre fill. So make sure you've done that before you start your next round. Let's begin the next round by working 3 single crochets in a row. That's 2, stitch marker back in place. Here's number 3, followed on with a decrease. Pull up a loop from the next 2 stitches, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. Let's do that one more time. 1, 2, 3, followed on with another decrease. This brings your stitch count to 8. We're going to start the next round by working a single crochet in our first stitch, stitch marker back in place. Follow the single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches all the way around. To finish this round, you're going to need 8 single crochets in a row. Once you finish that, you're going to follow the same method 5 times altogether to have 5 rounds of just single crochet. Go ahead and do that and meet me back here. At the end of 5 rounds of single crochet, your stitch count should still be 8. Now we're going to take a minute and stuff some fibre fill into this tail. We're not going to stuff the tail too much, but we're going to stuff it gently. And there we go. Now let's start the next round by working 2 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, followed on with a decrease. And let's repeat that one more time. So 2 single crochets, followed on with another decrease. That finishes our round and makes our stitch count to 6. Let's start the next round by working 1 single crochet followed on with a decrease. And repeat it one more time. 1 single crochet followed on with another decrease. And this brings our stitch count to 4. To finish this off, we're going to work 2 decreases here. 1 decrease And after working one decrease, I can see that there is barely any gap left. So we're going to just work a slip stitch in the opposite direction to fasten off. And there we go. Snip your yarn off, pull it out of the stitch and pull this down. Slip your hook from further away, make it come out from that same stitch where we have just finished. Loop this yarn onto your hook and pull this in to the tail like this. And from here you're going to squeeze and spread the fiber fill evenly so it's distributed nice and evenly all the way around. And that finishes the body of this axolotl. Now onto the arms and legs for this axolotl, and we're going to start off by working a slip knot and chain 2. Skip your first chain and work 6 single crochets in the second chain from your hook. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's my 6th one. Once you have your 6 single crochets, pull on this bit of yarn to eliminate the gap between your stitches. And once you've done that, it will bring your stitches nice and close together. Slip your hook in the first single crochet of your previous round to start round 2. Pull up a loop from there, make this first single crochet in that. Use your stitch marker to keep a stitch count from here. Follow this single crochet on with a single crochet in every one of these stitches. We're going to have 5 rounds of just single crochet. So this was my first round and we're working our round 2. Again with 6 single crochets. Here's the last stitch. We're going to work round 3 now with 6 single crochets again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you worked your 3 rounds, just turn this around before you continue any more rounds. So turn this the right way around, and we have 2 more rounds to work with 6 single crochets in each. Stuff this tail inside and let's continue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. From here we're going to slip a hook in the next stitch, guide it to go through the stitches at the back as well, pull up a loop and work a single crochet. We are now going to work 2 more to close the gap between the stitches on the top. And there we are. Once you've worked your 3 single crochets across the top, this is what the arm should look like. Chain 1, leave a little tail and snip this yarn off and pull it out of the stitch. Pull this down to secure it in place. Now we're going to follow the same method and make 3 more of these exact arms and legs. So go ahead and work that and meet me back here. Now onto the gills, and for this I've chosen to use this dark purple color. Let's begin by working a slip knot and then chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to skip our first chain, yarn over our hook and slip our hook in the second chain from the hook. Pull up a loop from there, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 in one go. We've just worked half double crochet here. We're going to work 2 more in the next 2 stitches. yarn over, slip your hook in the next chain stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook again, yarn over, pull through all 3 of them in one go. Let's do that for the last time again. Yarn over, slip a hook in the next chain stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 of them in one go. And for the very last stitch here, we're going to work a single crochet in that stitch. And there's one of the gills. We're going to chain 1 and snip this yarn off, leaving a small tail. We're going to be using this to stitch this or tie this onto the head later on. And there's one of the gills done. You're going to follow the same instructions and make 5 more of these. Go ahead and do that and meet me back here. Now onto the assembly. Let's start off with the arms and legs. Let's thread into a darning needle and we're going to show you where to position these. So we're going to, first thing, turn the axolotl sideways so we have the side profile, and we're going to attach the arms one round below the neck. So there's the neck joint, here's one round, and we're going to be sewing this in between here. So hold this across the top, making sure it's positioned centrally in on the side here, and catch 1 stitch on the body, and then make this go through the stitches on the arm as well, like this. Pull it through, go through each stitch twice, move on to the next stitch and the next stitch on the arm as well. And the third and final stitch right here, catch the stitch. This one is always best to do it from the outside like this. So catch the stitch from this side and go through that stitch twice as well. And once you've done that, we're going to slip our needle back into that same stitch and go through the same stitches one more time and create a loop with your yarn right here. Slip your needle inside that loop, pull this out and pull this down to create a knot in place. So when you gently pull this down, this will secure your thread and create a knot in place. Now slip your needle back into that same stitch, guide it to go through some fiber fill and come out from another side of the body, and there we go. We can now go ahead and snip this off. And that's one of the arms attached. You're going to follow the same instructions and attach the other arm on the other side of the body, exactly in the same round but on the other side. And once you've done that, the legs are going to be done exactly the same way. So you're going to lift the arm up, and for the legs you're going to count 5 rounds in between. So underneath the arm you're going to start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're going to sew the legs directly in line with the arm. So keeping arms and legs in line with one another, 5 rounds in between. Stitch that on as well on both sides, and once you've done all 3 of the other limbs, meet me back here. Now onto the dorsal fin, and for this let's start by working a slip knot with a contrasting color. I've chosen this dark purple. We're going to chain 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From here you're going to skip the first 2 chains, and we're going to be working double crochets in this 3rd chain from your hook. So yarn over, slip your hook in the 3rd chain from your hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through next 2. Now this chain 2 is also going to be considered a double crochet at this point. So we've got 2 double crochets here. Yarn over, and let's go ahead and work 1 more in that same chain space. Pull up a loop, 3 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through next 2. And just like this, we will be working 3 double crochets in every single one of these chain stitches. yarn over. Let's do the next one together. Slip your hook in the next chain stitch, pull up a loop, 3 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through first 2, yarn over, pull through next 2. 2 more in that same space. And once you've worked your 3 double crochets in that space, you're going to move on to the next, and after that to the next, and work all the way to the end, and then meet me back here. Once you finish working 3 double crochets in every single one of these stitches, this is what it will look like. It will curl up a little bit, but that's totally fine. Chain 1, and let's go ahead and snip this yarn off, leaving a long tail because we're going to be using that to sew that onto the body. Pull this down to secure it in place. And when we stitch this, you're going to just stitch the chain stitches and it will start to curl at the bottom then. Arms and legs are now on. Let's move on to the dorsal fin. This is what we've got. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take this little bit of yarn and the other and tie them into a knot. So they're both coming out from the same space like this. And go ahead and thread the longer bit on into your darning needle, and we are going to first of all hold the stitches, the chain stitch part out, stretched out like this, and we're going to find the middle point. To do this, you're going to hold the top across the top of the other and find the middle point. There is my middle point. Holding that in place, you are going to find out exactly where you need to sew this. So hold that at the base of the tail. You can use some pins if you wish to, or you can hold it in place. It's up to you. From here, you're going to start attaching the stitches or the chains at the side of the bottom of the tail. So catch one stitch on the tail and one stitch on this fin. So that's one. So once I've gone through one of them, take the other strand, give it a knot again so that we can get rid of it by pulling it through the body. So now I've attached the 2 things. I know exactly where I need to sew it, so I don't have to worry too much about it. Slip this in from further away and make it come out from that same stitch. The little strand that we've got spare, we're going to pull that into the body by looping that onto your hook and pull it in and make it come out from another side of the body. You can certainly repeat the process one more time if you wish to. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now we can go ahead and snip this yarn off and continue sewing these 2 components together. So now that the tail is attached with one strand, we can continue. Just hold it in place like this. Sew the chain stitches with the side of the tail. Going through one thing at a time and one stitch at a time. And once we get to the end point, you're going to catch the last stitch, connect with the body just the same as all the rest, but we're going to go through this one twice. Create a loop with your yarn, slip your needle inside this loop and pull this down to secure it in place. You certainly can repeat the process one more time if you wish to. So isolate the any stitch really like that. Create a loop with your yarn, slip your needle through it, pull it down to create a knot in place. Once that's done, you're going to slip this back into that same stitch, guide the thread to go through some fiber fill and come out from another side of the body. Pull this in. We can certainly repeat the process or just snip it off from there. It's totally up to you. I'm gonna just take it in and let's go ahead and snip that off. And that is the dorsal fin attached. Moving on to the facial features. And for this, we're going to start off with the pink yarn and work and make a little blush on both sides. So to do this, you're going to guide the thread in from further away and make it come out from where you would like the blush to be. I want my blush on this axolotl to be directly underneath the eyes and 2 stitches wide. So I'm going to do that. Pull plenty of yarn through, and I'm going to pull this and go through those 2 stitches a few times until I have the desired size of blush that I would like. Each time making sure that the threads sit side by side instead of overlapping. And again, one last time. And once you've got the desired size, you are then going to slip your needle back in that beginning place and repeat the same process on the other side and keeping it symmetrical. For example, if you have made this blush directly under the eye, it needs to be on the same side there. I made that up to, so directly under the eye in that same stitch. So that's where I'm starting here, keeping it 2 stitches wide as well. So let's go ahead and make that blush too. Making it sit side by side. Once I've gone through it 3 times, I'm going to go back into that and guide it to go to the starting point, which was right here. I'm going to pull this out from here, making sure now, keeping an eye on this and making sure that the blush doesn't get pulled in too much. If it did, you can always slip your needle or your hook underneath the blush and wiggle to make the stitches pop a little bit. And once that's done, you are going to take these 2 strands and let's cut them down to a shorter size. I'm going to tie a knot in place with these 2. Always a double knot. Let's grab our hook, slip it from further away, make it come out from that same stitch, loop those 2 bits of yarn onto your hook and pull it in. Like this. And once that's done, we can now give the whole head a little squeeze so the fibre fill gets distributed evenly. And there we go, that's the blush now complete. Now onto the gills, and for this we're going to be using these pins to identify exactly where we want to insert or attach the gills. So I can see I want to keep 2 spaces or 2 rounds in between each of the gill like this, and they need to start off on the side of the head. So I have kept round 1, 2, 3, 4 in between. So starting your first gill just between round 4 and 5, keep 2 rounds. Then the next one, 2 rounds, and then the next one. So use your pins to identify where you want it. And on the other side as well, making sure that you are keeping them. So on the side profile, they're all in line with one another as well. So once you've done that with your pins, you are going to either use a hook to attach these on, or you can use a pin. So I'll show you one of each. So with this one, I am going to first of all make sure that this part, the neater part or the front, is facing me. And let's go ahead and attach on the top part. Let's take the pin out and slip our needle in from that same space where the pin was. Guide it to come out from the other or 1 round below. Pull this. And from here you can take this needle out and you are going to attach the gill by giving these 2 a knot in place. Nice and tight. Okay, and I'm going to make this a double knot. I've just pushed the pins in so I can get this done. And once you've done it, do pull it out, because otherwise you'll lose them. And once you have finished with that, you're going to reduce them in size by snipping them off, and we are going to slip our hook from further away. Make it come out from that same space where we've just tied the knot. Loop these onto your hook and pull these 2 strands into the head and out from another side. And there we go. When it comes out, you can go ahead and snip that off. And there we go, that disappeared now. So that's 1 gill attached. We used a darning needle for that. I'll show you how to do one more. And this time we're just going to use a hook. Again, making sure that the neater part or the front of the stitches is facing us. Remove the other needle, but before you do that, you're going to insert, making sure the gills are in line. Insert your hook from the bottom, just 1 stitch below where the needle is. Make your stitch come out, or the hook come out like this. Loop this yarn onto your hook, so grab the front or one of the strands, loop that on and pull this through. And once you've done that, you're going to again tie a knot between these 2 strands, double knot. So that's my first one. Get it out of the way and then do another in the same place. And once those 2 knots are done, you're going to snip these 2 strands down to a smaller size. Slip your hook from further away, doesn't matter where it is coming from, but further away. Loop those 2 strands onto your hook and pull them into the body. If they come out from here, you can snip them off, but that's fine if they just stay inside. And that's 2 of them attached. You're going to follow the same method and attach the rest of them as well. So go ahead and do that and meet me back here. I'm now finished with the gills. Let's go ahead and embroider the mouth and finish off the eyes as well. For this, thread your darning needle with DK yarn in black color. Slip in from further away, make it come out from 1 round below the eyes. Right here, so there's the eyes, there's the round below. I'm going to pull this through, and you're going to keep exactly 1 stitch on this side as well and slip your needle in on the other side, keeping it symmetrical on both sides. From here to embroider the mouth, I'm going to guide this needle to come out from 1 round below, directly in the center of the eyes, like this. So it looks a bit like this at this point. We are going to now slip our needle underneath that line and pull this down like this to make it into a smile. Slip that back into that same space where it just came out from. Guide it to go through some fiber fill and come out from that starting point again. Pull this out, and now we're gently going to pull on both of the strands until we have our desired effect. And that's what we've got. We are now going to go ahead and snip this thread down, tie them both in a knot. I always do a double knot. And using your darning needle, you can slip this one into some fiber, the head, making it go through some fiber fill. Wherever it comes out from, you can go ahead and snip that off. And the other smaller piece, you can get rid of that with your hook. Loop that onto your hook and pull that in to the head. And once that's done, that completes the mouth. Now onto the details of the eye. So again, with the black thread, we're going to go from further away. We can go from the same place if we wish to, or go from elsewhere. So I'm going to slip my needle in from this side, make it come out from slightly away from the eye. So 1 stitch away like this. Pull this in. And I'm going to slip this in right in the front, directly in the front here. Make the needle go through some fiber fill, come out from the other side, exactly in the same place as well, keeping it symmetrical, like this. Pull it through, and when you pull this all the way in, it will create a little eyelid or eyelash effect for this axolotl. And let's slip this in, keeping one space in between the stitches and the needle and the eye, like this. Guide it to now go back to the starting point. If you find that it's too far and you are struggling to get it through, I'll show you what to do. Make it come out from anywhere, really. So this thread out as well, so it's coming out from the right place. And now we can slip it back in. As it's closer, we can aim it to come out from the starting point. And that doesn't make a difference to this stitch here. If it gets pulled, you can pull it up again. Let's go ahead and snip this little bit down to a smaller size. Tie a knot in place. And we're going to slip this back into that same stitch. Make it come out from another side, pull it out, snip it off. Pull this one in as well. And we are now going to give this head quick massage, just so it retains and all of the threads go in the right place and fiber fill is distributed evenly. And that completes our axolotl. Let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. If you enjoyed making this axolotl with me, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.